Joined today by Jeff Simmons, president of Elanco. Jeff in town for the celebration of the World Food Prize and the symposiums and meetings and shows that surround that. Jeff, hey, welcome to the Midwest again. You've been here before. You're not a stranger to us.
I have. I spent a lot of time in Des Moines. Great to be here, Bob. Thank you for the opportunity.
Now, what's your role? What's Elanco's role with the World Food Prize?
Yeah, so we'll be on the Borlaug Dialogue Symposium, and I'll be speaking in a panel today, talking a lot about technology and the importance of technology to try to solve this bigger food issue that this meeting's all about, is how do we get food in the right place in an efficient and economical way. You know,
when you come to the Midwest, of course, and I think that's one of the reasons the World Food Prize is here, is because we do such a good job at production.
Yes.
And almost overproduction. And, you know, really Midwestern agriculture, Jeff, it's one of those things that you're almost penalized for being efficient at producing. We know there's a problem out there with feeding a hungry world. What we're trying to do is connect that line from what we produce here to those people that need it. I mean, are we talking political boundaries? Are we talking economic issues? Are we talking transportation or logistics?
Yeah, that's probably why a meeting like this occurs, and there's 1,000 people from country leaders to Bill Gates that'll be here tomorrow. I mean, it's going to take money and lots of good minds and a lot of foreign countries working together. It's a complex issue. But I think you got to separate a couple things, Bob. One is agriculture is cycles. As I look at riding down a corn row and a combine and looking at how you felt this year compared to last year. I mean, there will be cycles that'll always be hard to manage. Now, can we take some of those cycles out? Potentially. But that's one issue, and then getting the food in the right place, and that's the second issue. The long-term trends still look good. We still need to double food as this population goes from 6.5 billion people to 9 billion people. We need to double food, and I'm going to talk about the 50-170. In 50 years, 100% more food. 70% of that doubling's got to come from technology. It's not going to come from more land.
Well, yeah, I mean, land is a finite resource, although we have found a way to squeeze more production per acre, and the yield lines are indicating that we will continue to grow, that production per acre. So maybe not more land, but more food off of that land.
More food off from that land, and let's not forget, I mean, to an Iowa pig farm, corn operation, or a cheese plant, it is about efficiency. We need to remember it's all about, hey, we need to sustain our competitiveness. It's very important because this thing is becoming much more global as we're seeing fewer and fewer processors, packers, retailers. You need to remain competitive not only with your fellow Iowa farmer, but your fellow Brazil farmer. That's very important.
Yeah, I believe that, and I think people in the Midwest believe that. The farmers believe that as well. They're going to run wide open. I mean, we just don't cut back. It doesn't pay us to cut back. We're good at producing, and that's what we're going to continue to do. That's our sweet spot in the Midwest. But are we going to get to a situation, and you deal with these or talk with these worldwide leaders, where food is no longer used as a strategic weapon or as a worldwide penalty, basically?
Yeah, I think that's so. You've got the economical cycles, and then you've got the political dynamics, and the political dynamics will always be there. And I think food will always be a tool, but I do believe it'll be less used as a tool against. And you're seeing that a little bit between China and the U.S. and Russia and the U.S. You're seeing a little bit less. And you got to look at some people that have done it well. Brazil has done it very well, getting pork and poultry into a Europe. I mean, we need to make sure that we're playing that and understanding that political game. No question.
So let me ask you this question: Is food affordable to everyone?
Is it affordable? No, it's not. Absolutely not. I mean, there's many people that can't afford food. There's a billion out of the 6.5 billion people. There's a billion people that are officially, in poverty or hungry and not able to get the food that is needed. And so efficiency and affordability of food is the biggest driver, and then access to food is too. So that's important. I want to highlight, I think the biggest thing, I think technology will solve 70% of the problem and innovation. The risk of that not happening, though, and where we would have a big dilemma, is if the minority voice, the 4 or 5% of the global consumers that want luxury foods, start to change. If you go out and interview consumers today globally, from Des Moines to London to Africa, they want affordable, nutritious food. And there's a small 4 or 5% that want luxury foods. And that's fine, but don't let them change their interest into law to hurt the 95%. And my worry is, as you look at the U.S., we look a little bit like Europe relative to, taking some of the choices of technology away from the producers here in Iowa. And that's where I think we need to speak up.